Well, this is our pet cemetery, which has been in the family for centuries. And it's within our grounds, obviously. That one, of course, was our Chin-Chin, absolutely wonderful childhood pet, peacock, huge bright cock, gloriously colourful, majestic thing. Sadly, he died, and I was left with a rather drab little peahen, which I do feel has set something of a pattern. This, of course, is Jeffrey's plot, and I like to come out here just to spend some quality time with him. I mean, I always knew with Jeffrey that he was very much the one, but I think what really clinched it for me was that first kiss. Had these wonderfully large, very red lips, quite bulbous, I think one would almost say, a particularly big tongue. I mean, he was medically a giant, and I'll never forget how it used to probe into my mouth and really search my mouth. You know, one would feel that it was actually quite forceful.
Well, I mean, Jeffrey really was rather good at everything that he did. I mean, that was the thing about him, is that he was an achiever, and he was captain at all sorts of sports. And I suppose kissing was no different. I mean, I never experienced the kiss myself. Flick! The vaginismus. Sometimes when the muscles contract, Flick will get depleted. The blood sugar will go down. It's a form of diabetes, isn't it, darling? It's all right. There, come on, I've got you.
Today. Please don't pour me, darling.
It's all right.
Please don't pour me, darling. Thank you.
I mean, he was originally buried near Lake Windermere at the wish of his parents.
Which I thought was really rather selfish, but shortly afterwards we began legal proceedings and had his body exhumed and brought back here.
He's actually buried straight down into the ground, like that, wearing his riding outfit, perfectly erect.
How I like to remember him. I think when one truly loves somebody, to let go of them would be wrong. And if you think about my condition as well, on top of all that, if you couple the grief with a very, very tight, you know, there's not much room for Peter. I shall be buried next to Jeffrey. I shall be curved around him, very much like a banana, which was one of our very favourite positions, Jeffrey and myself.
Shall be just the other
we had
side,
a certain language really between
just
us.
Fitting in
language of love.
Before
Darling,
the
I'm talking.
perimeter fence.
And Peter, as we have discussed.
Or I shall be able
Peter,
to just
as we
reach
have
out.
discussed, will be down there between Sergeant Potter and Rachel.
Sergeant Potter was my guinea pig.
Talked about it.
Quite fitting for me because I'm, of course, something of a pig and not worth a guinea.
Why don't you go down, Peter, and try out the plot?
But in all seriousness, I shall rest with.
Peter, why don't you go down and try out the plot?
With Flick and with.
Peter!
I think it's abundantly clear that I'm not entirely right. But as they've all told me, there's no reason that I can't, you know, really make a crack at life. Because I have so many positive things in my life. Flick, the house, the job, Helen the dog, Nana, that why should something like that, you know, affect me? And it doesn't. It's only really in quiet moments when I'm on my own, or perhaps in company, that it might rear its ugly head.
And hunch. Head hook.
Feels far. Does it look far?
I mean, the other option, of course, is cremation.
Well, I mean, if we've been going at it hammer and tongs, Tony will need a very long sleep.
Dicky Dicker. And I mean, sexually, Bev is an athlete compared to Marie. Obviously, she's quite an advantage since Marie's accident.
Yeah, she never wanted it after the accident, did she?
I mean, if I entered her vaginally, she claimed she couldn't feel it.
That was before the accident.
Yeah.
I mean, Tony will try all sorts, but he had an allergy, so...
Not nice.
Swelled up like a baboon.
A balloon. Lovely to look at, but a lot of pain. Well, my ex-wife Marie's accident really put a kettle on the stove. That kettle came to the boil with Bev. She took the lid off the kettle and she poured it.
Amen. Plus, Marie had a very early menopause.
Very, very difficult time for me. She had problems down below. Not going to go into details, too much respect for the woman. What I will say is, you can't have a roast dinner without the gravy.
That's it.
Too dry.
I mean, you're very adventurous, aren't you? You try anything.
Yeah.
But sometimes some of his suggestions, in all honesty, you know, he will come knocking round my back door, and I have had to kick up a bit of a ruckus, because at the end of the day, I don't know how normal that is.
Normal is as normal does. And as I always say, you know, try it once. And if you don't like it, we'll come back to it in a few nights. What's he reading? What paper is it? Oh, it's the Daily Mail. Yeah. Actually,
Look at him. There are new shoes. Those are.
Deck shoes. Put deck shoes on a depressive, you're asking for trouble. And put him on a boat, he'd throw himself over the side, take his own life. I'm surprised by the Mail, that's a good paper. Off work with depression, but not too depressed to get Sky Digital. 76 channels of hell, 24 hours a day.
Every one of them run by Satan.
I try to be understanding. Yeah. Turn it down!
I can't believe they're going on holiday. Les is circumcised, which I don't like.
Yes. You know, given a choice. Although I dare say on the plus side, I lost a bit of weight when it went, so negligible, I suppose, but you know.
In the beginning, you know, I'm used to it now, but in the beginning, I don't know, a little more surprised, you know, me or it.
That's it. I mean, he does look a little bit shocked, little fella. I mean, as regards sexual matters, you do hear of people have all sorts of hang-ups, you know. And, you know, I am one of them, so.
How's it?
It's all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You happy?
Yeah.
You happy, Liz?
Yeah, stop it there. All right. Yeah, enough.
I do like to violate Les anally on occasion.
And that's something I very much look forward to, you know, the cessation of. But what I do is I put up and I shut up, because, you know, after what I put her through, you know, it's the least I can do.
I bought it.
24 quid.
24 quid, that's second hand.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, yes, it can be painful to start with, but if Les has had a few drinks, it will reach a point where he can embrace me internally, so...
Very painful. I think in some ways she doesn't enjoy it much either.
I love it, you know.
You know, I think she sees it as well as something that she has to do, but she doesn't get a great deal out of, you know.
It's one thing I look forward to in life.
But she sort of goes through it, you know. I think almost ritualistically, really, but I can tell she's not enjoying it, really.
Put aside an hour or two, 3 times a week.
Tries to get over as quick as she can, in fairness to her, you know.